right, let's see what the angels have for us today. I'm just going to channel them and give you a message to all of you and see what resonates and let go and leave whatever doesn't resonate. So I'm just going to take a moment to connect in with the angels. So starting off with an image and a feeling or an experience of being on the ground and just like all this dirt on me, or sand, like being on the beach and all the sand on me. They're showing me both images. Just this way of like being super rooted and grounded in the earth. And it feels so nourishing. One, they're kind of calling in of like the beginning of summer, you know, this thing of like rebirth after death, and like coming alive again. So we're in that cycle in the seasons here in the US, and also astrologically, starting with the Aries sign. So we're starting over in the astrological chart. So that's part of what they're saying. But a lot of this is around nourishment, nurturing our body and our soul. And just a reminder that when we're in winter, we might feel like everything is dead and that there's a lack of connection. There's still connection. It's just not as vibrant. It's not the same. You're kind of saying like when someone passes away and goes back into the spirit world, we feel like we've lost that connection. That's not true. The connection has just changed. And we might struggle to connect more. It's not, doesn't feel as tangible or as vibrant as like in your face as if someone's, you know, physically here, present on earth. You know, unless you're a very powerful psychic medium channeler, it might still have very powerful or intense experience when someone is in spirit form. But for a lot of us, including myself, even though I am an intuitive, it's not the same. It's just a different form. We have to get used to it. But it doesn't mean that it goes away. So kind of similar with the seasons of when we're in winter, things just feel different, like our connection to nature and other living beings and plants and things like that. Almost like the connection sometimes can feel muted for a lot of people, but it's not gone because things aren't actually dead. They're just dormant, or they're quieter, or they've slowed down, just like we often are encouraged to do during those months as well. If you live in a colder climate. But when we hit spring and things start to have a vibrancy and aliveness, it's not that they become alive again. It's just they come out of being dormant, and we get to connect with that. So now gets to be the time to reconnect with our spirit and our soul. Maybe we feel like there's been parts of us that have been kind of like blah, dormant. Maybe we've just been moving more sluggish. And now is the kind of time to tune in to see what do we need as we go into this next phase of picking up speed, right? Most people are super, super busy in the summer. And the spring is kind of like that bridge for a lot of people where we come out of a slow place before we go into like a very hustle bustle kind of place. So right now is just a time to like tune inward, check in, like what do I need that I'm coming out of this slower paced time period. If you've been in a winter season right now. And, you know, I'm seeing a lot of like connecting in with nature. Play is another word that's coming to mind. Creativity, like almost like getting the creative juices and the spirit energy flowing again, because it's like showing energy instead of moving a lot. It's been like super slow. Now it's starting to pick up, but it needs fuel. So kind of they're showing me like a train, and you know, when people would like trains being run by like carbon, for example, like coal, right? Like putting in coal, burning that so the train keeps running, as an example of like, we need something like that for us. It's not just food is what angels are saying, and sleep, those are important, but what other things fuel you so that we aren't running on fumes when we start to pick up speed during this time of the year or as the coming months come. What do we need to really build up our energy supplies? because they're also showing a lot of us are running on like really low battery, like in the red. Like if this was a phone battery, showing like in the red, we need to be recharged. Let me see if there's anything other guidance. Water is another one. So like drinking water, taking a shower, a bath, jumping into a lake. Water can be really rejuvenating. Let me just see if there's any other guidance around nurturing and what that could look like. Connection. So relationships. Kind of like if I'm running low and I connecting with someone who's maybe their battery is fully charged, or like, you know, they've done a lot to take care of themselves, or they just have more battery, I might be able to get a little bit from them to recharge myself. And then when I'm in a more charged, you know, place of feeling like I've filled up my cup more, taking care of myself better, and have more to give, then I can do that to someone else, and we kind of lean on each other. And sometimes we might both be in a very low, like me and another person might be in a very low battery place, but just being in each other's presence can actually fill our batteries up, even if we're not like taking from someone's reserve and giving to the other. If we're both low reserve, sometimes just sharing space, you know, not like necessarily having to do anything or talk about anything, even though that can be helpful. Just sharing space can really up our energy. They're also showing pets and animals, snuggling with an animal, with a pet. That also can up the battery. So just think about what brings, and they're only showing me like sound. Like what brings the feeling of like, that feels so nice. Like it's just so hard to describe the feeling they're like bringing to my body, but just so like, I feel so held and cuddled and just nurtured and nourished. It's like, oh, that feels so good. What brings that feeling to your body? And really stock up on that. Do more of that to get ready for the energies that lie ahead.